Entrepreneurs come up with a variety of ideas almost all the time, but how do they decide to pursue a certain idea? In our episode today, we are focusing on idea screening. My name is Regina Kinyolando, and in my panel today, I have our resident panelists. I have Mr. David Sergon, a lecturer of entrepreneurship, Moi University, and at the furthest end is Dr. Bernard Nashuma, a senior lecturer of entrepreneurship, Moi University. Welcome to the program. Once again, gentlemen, welcome to the program, and I'd like us to begin with reviewing or defining idea screening. Dr. Nashuma, what is idea screening?
Idea screening is the most important phase in the entrepreneurial venture creation process, given the fact that the quality of the idea that you've got could determine whether you succeed or you fail as an entrepreneur. And many times we can say that entrepreneurs have set up enterprises based on existing opportunities, and yet these enterprises, after operating for some time, fail. And the simple reason why they fail takes us back to the screening process of the idea. We can therefore say that idea screening entails an evaluation, an analysis, a checkup of whether the idea is workable or not workable. And in so doing, there are a number of things that you look at. You look at the magnitude of the problem that is to be addressed by your new enterprises that you intend to create. If the problem can be solved adequately through the idea that you have got, then that idea truly is viable. Secondly, you look at the business model, how you're going to deliver value to the customers. It is important that you really determine how you are going to deliver that value appropriately, timely, based on the needs of the customers. Again, the uniqueness of the idea that you have got is very important in the sense that it differentiates you from other providers of the same value. And finally, the competitors. You cannot ignore the competitors, given the fact that when you are venturing into entrepreneurship, you are not going to be part of the forest, but you have to be visible, you have to be distinct, you have to come out. So you need to check who are your direct competitors, who are your indirect competitors, who are your future competitors, and how are you going to sustain your venture after the creation process.
When we are talking of idea screening, it's also important to talk of sources of business ideas. I know we talked about this in our preceding episode, but for the sake of what we are doing today, it's good to go back to the same. Mr. Sergon, what are the sources of business ideas?
One of the sources of ideas open to entrepreneurs is day-to-day problems or needs of individuals. When you scan the environment, you realize that there are many problems that we face. For example, today, teachers are on strike. What does this pose to an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur may think of providing a solution to children who are at home. It could be in terms of maybe a private tuition, or it could be coming up with some program that can engage these kids, especially during this session when they are at home. Mm-hmm. So day-to-day needs sources of ideas. Mm-hmm. Another one is personal experiences. At times you do things and you realize that you are facing some challenges. That challenge can give you an opportunity to really come up with an idea on how to solve that particular problem. For example, the person who came up with the ATM machine, who was trying to really have money on a weekend because he had a very serious need. But the problem was that banks could just open from Monday to Friday, 8 to 5. So what he did was to think of a way in which money can be dispensed anytime, 24-7. And so he came up with this idea of coming up with an ATM. That is a personal experience that he was able to really face. Others are things like factors. It could be political factors, legal factors, economic factors, social factors. A good example is when the government cracked down on the illicit brew, second generation brew, there were opportunities that were identified by people. For example, if I'm running, say, a RIAB, you will receive a lot of clients who are suffering from withdrawal syndrome. That is an opportunity, and therefore, if you are having a lot of fellows who are having these challenges, then you can set up a RIAB so that you can enroll these people to go through maybe a rehabilitation program. So generally, these are some of the sources of ideas that you can really learn from the environment.
Ideas are like buses. Every time you find that an idea that comes to the recognition of somebody passes on, and when that has passed on, another idea will come. So the ideas are ever present, but what is critical is our comprehension of our current environment. We said before that external stimulation could be a major source of ideas to an entrepreneur. You look around, look at what is happening, and try to understand how it is happening. If you can find a better way of getting those things done faster, efficiently, that constitutes an idea. Let's take, for example, the prediction that we are going to have El Nino. That is an environmental source of ideas. And people are preparing to buy boats, probably even in the city. Others are preparing to build, to get transportation. Like even one can get a donkey and can transport people through the floods. Others are preparing to carry people on their backs. And these all are ideas. So what we say is that essentially there are many sources, but what is important is firstly for one to understand the environment in which you live. If we look at the economic scenario, for example, if you find that many people are poor in a given area, they cannot, for example, afford to buy the 500 grams of Blue Band. As an entrepreneur, you can package 10 grams or 5 grams and you are fulfilling the need.
Sure.
So the diversity in terms of sourcing of ideas is all dependent on the entrepreneur visualization of the customer. If you can understand the customer needs, then you can be able to derive an idea from there which you can translate into a viable business opportunity.
And in as much as we are talking of idea screening, I believe it's not just a matter of waking up any morning and saying that I have this number of ideas and I need to screen them. What are the important factors to consider when undertaking idea screening? Dr. Nashuma.
In screening the ideas, there are a number of things that you look at for you to conclusively say that this idea truly is workable. There are 4 things basically we look at. The first one is product, service, feasibility, which we generally refer to as the technical analysis. When you talk of a product, who needs it? Which type? Which size? And what value will it add to the consumer? So you have to have a real understanding of really the product and how it will work, how you will develop it, how you will take it to the customer, and how it will benefit the customer in terms of delivering value. Of course, when we talk of a product, generally we can refer to tangible or intangible products. Like for example, I go to a beauty parlor to cut my hair. You see it is long. That is a service, and I'll be physically there for the barber to provide that value.
Another aspect that you need to consider when you are doing idea screening is the market and the industry. If you look at products that you want to offer, it's critical to offer a product to a certain market that is willing to buy this product. And not only buying the product, but offering you a possibility of a repeat purchases, so that that particular need should be satisfied over and over again. And in so doing, you'll be able to make this. Now, with the same aspect of market, you also have to assess the market share. What is the share that you can really conclusively achieve when you penetrate the market? So your uniqueness, your product that you want to offer will determine what kind of market that you're going to penetrate. Now, if you look at the industry, usually we use what we call Porter's 5 forces model, which looks at the industry in 5 perspectives. One, you need to look at the industry on the aspects of the threats of substitute products in the market. Today, if you go to a supermarket, you'll find that there are many substitute products which really compete. Unlike in the past, where maybe if you go to a supermarket like Nakumatt, you'll find there is only one Kimbo brand competing with maybe Cowboy, or maybe there was a Treetop long time ago. But today, you'll find there are many soft drinks competing in that particular shelf. So, as an entrepreneur, as you try to screen the idea, you must be cognizant of the fact that this idea that you're coming up with is likely to face some substitute threats. People are coming up with products that can offer a challenge to what you're selling. Secondly, there are issues to do with the bargaining capabilities of the buyer and the supplier. But let me begin with the buyer. Usually, when you're selling your product, there are people who consume your product. These are the buyers. What is their ability to really fix you to reduce the price? When you reduce the price, then it will affect your profit margins at the end of the day. So you need to really see how you can have a product that can give you maybe what to call handsome profits. Because if they can use the substitutes to bargain, you are likely to really reduce your price. So if you have a premium product which has little maybe competition, then you are likely to really reduce the capabilities of bargaining from the buyers. Equally, if you look at the suppliers' bargaining power, it is about them offering you maybe some raw materials and other issues. So they may be willing to really give you a product at a certain price. So if you are selling, if you are producing a product and you need some raw materials from certain suppliers, the suppliers may bargain for a better offer for their raw materials or their components. The consequence of that is that you will be forced to really perhaps maybe reduce your profit margins at the end of the day. And that, of course, will affect how you run your business. So you must scrutinize that. And the other issue is the rivalry within the industry. You are not really unique in entering maybe an industry. There are other players who are there. And these players will want to really sustain their market niche. So any entrant to the particular market will face some fierce competition, or there will be some sort of repulsive behavior from the existing firms. So when you are setting up an idea, the critical thing that you need to know is there will be a reaction from the existing competitors, and that reaction may, of course, smoke your business out of the market. And last but not least is the issue about the entry barriers. If you are doing a business, ensure that you really provide the right barriers so that not every Tom, Dick and Harry can move into the business. You can achieve this through maybe things like the right technology, which could be advanced, and therefore other entrepreneurs may not have the capabilities of accessing that technology. You can do it by maybe enhancing your economies of scale, that you are buying maybe in bulk, and therefore your unit costs will be reduced. So when you produce the products, then your margins will be handsome. Or you may deal with the issues to do with the capabilities of your employees. You hire top-notch personnel who will, of course, give you a notch higher than the competitors. So generally, when you are trying to screen an idea, you need to think about the industry where you'll enter, because you are not actually operating in isolation. You operate within a realm of entrepreneurial context where other people are there, and therefore they may not really just sit on their laurels waiting for you to really nip their market. They will always want to really react. So you must have time to really scrutinize the industry.
And maybe before we move to the next point, there's a time there was some rivalry in the mobile telephone industry when there was a new entrant into the industry. What are the implications of the new entrant to the industry, Mr. Sargon?
When a firm is doing very well in a certain industry, they usually witness what we call supernormal profits. Supernormal profits are actually what we call at times obscene profits. And as you earn these profits, you'll find that you'll attract some interest from other quarters. People want to really venture into the same business. So you'll find entrants trying to really strategize on how to penetrate to your market. So it happened in the industry. Airtel came in first, and then Safaricom came in to really become a very dominant player. So when the other time we have a bank we're intending to come up with a product, it was likely to really destabilize their profit margins. So generally you'll find any player in the market will want to really protect their niche. So the kind of pressure that we witnessed is normal in any business environment, because a new entrant may come up with a new innovative product.
Sure.
They may choose to really reduce the prices. So there will be some consequence to the existing dominant partner in the industry. And it's always good to have these companies moving in to compete, because the net effect will be reduced prices, which will be a benefit to the consumers. So we are expecting with the entry of this new mobile telephony firm, transaction costs for our M-Pesa and the rest will have to roll down because of the competition. So I think it is a very healthy thing, so that we really avoid monopoly, where a monopoly firm will dictate the price all the time, and therefore the consumer may not have their say at the end of the day.
Sure, thank you so much for the clarification.
I think we need to add that opportunities, once they have been identified, do not belong to anybody. Like the example which has been given regarding the mobile telephone industry, you find that once people determine the profitability, like my colleague has said, they will want to come in and you can't stop them. But the only tool that we have, which you can use to sustain yourself, is innovation and creativity, and of course protection of your ideas. We can also add that on the part of industry, the industry in which you want to get to, is the industry growing? Is the industry declining? Is the industry sustainable? Then you can get in. Because you can't start producing, for example, manual typewriters now. Who will buy them? There will be nobody to buy them. Another aspect I want us to look at from the perspective of market industry attractiveness is actually the market attractiveness at the macro level. Under this, you'll have to look at the various forces that play in the economy. For example, the political forces. You look at the direction of the political forces. You look at the economic forces, things like the price change, things like inflation, things like the competitiveness in the industry. You look at the social cultural values. Are they changing? Are they embracing new products? You also need to look at the lifespan of the products that are in the market. That is important for an entrepreneur. In addition to what we have looked at in analyzing the industry at the macro level, we also have to analyze the market attractiveness at the micro level. And we look at technology, the technological forces. Technology is an evolving phenomenon, and you find that the technology that was there yesterday is not the technology which is here today.
Sure.
Which technology are you going to apply in the production of the value? And how sustainable is that technology? Is it easily imitated by the competitors? That tells you that that is not the right place to go. But if you have protected it and it cannot easily be imitated, then it means that you are going to reap from that technology for a long time. In examining the market industry feasibility, again, you'll have to look at the market attractiveness at the micro level. And here you look at the preferences, the tastes of the consumers. You also look at the market size, which you are going to exploit. And that is very important, because you can have a nice idea, but if there are no customers and there are no preferences for your product, and you cannot track the changing preferences of the consumers, then you not have business.
Mr. Sargon, is there any other aspect of the visibility?
The other aspect, which is quite important, is the financial analysis that you need to do. We have a lot of ideas. In fact, it is said that out of 100 ideas, you can screen, and at the end of it all, you'll have only one or two will end up being a business opportunity. And we are aware that these ideas demand resources, and finance is a critical resource. And the fact remains that also we operate on constrained financial resources. So when you're screening, you need to be alive to the fact that how much of the finances do we need for this particular idea. So if you have a set of ideas, you need to know the financial outlay that you need to really place to this particular idea. So that once you do that, then you'll be able to know whether this will actually end up helping you recoup the investment within a short time, medium or long term. So some ideas may end up maybe offering a quick recoup period. Others may be long term, like if you are doing a residential building, it can take up to 25 years for you to recoup your investment. But if you are running maybe a business like an agrovet, it can give you you can recoup within 1 year. So you need to really know how is this operating. And with financial analysis, you must analyze the existing farms, because if you are to enter into a certain industry, see how those farms are doing. Look at maybe their profitability. Like if you are to set up today, maybe say a bank, you will be seeing the profits which are being really achieved by some banks in Kenya in terms of billions. So you'll realize that this is actually what I expect to achieve if I penetrate the market. So you'll have to look at maybe the revenues that are accruing from that particular industry, so that you'll compare with your investment that you want to put in, because investment may not be enough. And we are saying in dealing with entrepreneurship, you start small but think big, so that you don't really pump a lot of resources or financial resources into a project that may collapse at the end of the day. So you must look at things like return on investment. You must look at things like break-even analysis. Break-even is about how many units must I produce to really achieve the total revenue, total cost equilibrium, so that anything you produce beyond will actually give you the profit margin. So you have to look at those components in a thorough perspective, and when you scrutinize the income statements of companies, then that will give you a view of what you need to pump into and what financial expectations you are likely to receive when you do that, when you enter into the business.
Additionally, another aspect of analysis is the organization. We have to analyze the organization from basically 3 perspectives. The first one, we look at the organizational mode, which we generally refer to the form of business organization. This could be sole proprietorship. You want to do it alone? Yeah, you'll have to bear the risks and you will have to make the profit. The second one is partnership, where you work with other people to share the value, to share the costs and so forth. And thirdly, you can get a joint stock company or public limited company or even private limited company. That way you will have determined the vehicle through which you can deliver your value to the customer. And it must be appropriate, in line with the legal requirements, in line with the financial requirements and other management aspects of the venture. Secondly, you need to look at the resources and the ability of the organization in terms of the delivery of value. You need equipment, for example, you need tools, you need premises. You must assess what you really have. And as a starter, you don't have to go for a lot of resources. You have to get just optimum resources to deliver that given value. Then thirdly, you look at the personnel capability. You must have people who have what it takes to deliver that value to the customer consistently, on time and continuously. So human resource aspect or people management becomes critical aspect in the exploitation of the identified business idea.
Having talked of the important factors to consider when undertaking idea screening, what are the important features of an idea that works after screening? Mr. Sargon.
An idea that is likely to qualify to the next stage of planning must demonstrate the capability of delivering value to the user, meaning that it must create value to the user such that this user will continuously use the product. The second aspect that gives the features of this is that it must have what we call a robust market. Robust market in the sense that you are likely to really scale up your sales. When you scale up your sales, then of course the revenues will increase. So these sales will of course translate to profits, so that in the initial phases you'll be able to really expand the business, you'll be able to meet your financial obligations. The other issue that you need to also appreciate is that it must really address a significant problem that we have. Ideas that qualify to be business opportunities must have a specific problem to address. If it's about maybe a social problem, it must have that. And as you address that particular problem, the problem must also be a problem that is not short-lived. Because if it's short-lived, then you pump resources, the idea, the problem is solved, then what next? So you must have that which will actually move into future. And lastly, that idea must actually rhyme with the founder's vision and mission, because you can't run an idea which belongs to somebody else. And that is the reason why most ventures actually collapse, because it's being driven by a steward who is not actually the owner of the idea. So we need to have somebody who can really drive this based on the initial visualization of what he intends to achieve. So generally, those are the issues that really makes one idea more superior compared with maybe other ideas which may not be taken to the next phase of the process.
Thank you so much. Our time is far much spent, and we really have to stop there, and I'd love to have your final comments. But in your final comments, I'd love you to state whether some idea screening that have been made with the entrepreneurs fail while others have succeeded.
Ideas could fail owing to the fact that the entrepreneur is not able to identify the production process or design process appropriately. Equally, may not be able to bring the idea into the market at the right time when the consumer needs it. And it can also be due to lack of the creative ability. And in summary, we can say that idea screening is all about prioritization, finding the best idea that will meet the need of the customer and will also deliver value to the entrepreneur.
Another reason why ideas fail is because of poor timing. Others could be because of incompetent management, and it's also maybe because of undercapitalization of your idea. And in summary, I want to say that if you identify an idea, don't just rush that idea into a business. You need to spend time to screen, because if you don't screen the idea, you might pretend that you are the first person to know this, and therefore you are smarter than everybody else. You need to really take time, screen, do all those analysis that we've mentioned, and thereafter then you can put them on a weighing scale and see which idea should move to the next phase of planning. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for shedding light on idea screening. And to you viewers, thank you for staying tuned to the Entrepreneurial Spark program. Let's meet again next Wednesday, same time, on Business Planning. I've been your host, Regina Akinyi.